Okay. Hi, everyone. It is August 29th, which is so crazy. We have the final last couple days of Team Cup of the month of August. Those of you who are moms, stepmoms, dog moms, this is the time where life kind of goes back into a routine, and I'm feeling that right now. It's kind of like you get a hangover for a couple days, I think, because I'm like tired from going back to school. But I know I'm already feeling better. It's a hard adjustment. But tonight we're going to talk about just social media. I was going to talk a lot about Instagram because I'm personally getting into Instagram, but I don't want anyone to feel like they have to make the switch to Instagram. If you listen to the National Wake Up Call a couple weeks ago, or not on the Instagram story, somebody else, it was a couple weeks, but she was talking about if Facebook, or maybe it was Jatana, but she was like, if Facebook is working for you, you don't have to switch it up. Like what I had always been told when I started coaching was you master one platform at a time. So you don't want to like have Facebook going and Instagram going and like a like page and a blog and all these things that you're trying to juggle. It would be too much, and like I would totally understand if someone was like, I can't do all that, because I definitely couldn't. So you kind of want to think of it like what do you use? Like if you were going to go not to work but just to kind of veg out on your phone, what would you want to go to? If you connect with people in Facebook more, stick with Facebook. If you're on Instagram more, do Instagram. Like pages kind of separate. Also, like if you are more of like a Pinterester and a blogger, there's all that. So there's lots and lots of choices. But so I'm just going to talk about like tips and tricks and I'm going to talk about the differences a little bit with Facebook and Instagram, but really the principles are exactly the same. There's really not much of a huge variation. But I know this because I'm like this, and we attract who we are like, right? So if I know if I have a struggle, that people on my team are having this struggle. And my struggle when I first started was that I never posted. I would post like if I went out on a girls' night, or when my son was born, or like if something big kind of happened, like when I started teaching, I would share about my classroom a little bit, but like not anything consistent, definitely not every day, and nothing like with a purpose. And so when you get started as a coach, you're kind of like, what am I supposed to post? And so I'm just going to give you some ideas of things you can do when you don't know what to post, and a couple things to think about. Now, for me, and probably for you, the fear of posting can kind of be the fear of judgment. Like, what are people going to think about me, and what am I doing? And, you kind of get that self-doubt of like, oh, they don't care about my life. I don't want to share. That's kind of like stupid. But when you are going through your news feed, especially as you get to know people on the team, or you're starting to run challenge groups or something like that, and you're networking with more coaches, maybe you're networking with a success partner, your Facebook feed is going to fill up with Beachbody coaches. But you have to remember that nobody's else really is. Of course, there's going to be people who have one or two coaches in their news feed, but your news feed is filled with your friends who are coaches, but nobody else has that. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to share another workout picture, you have to remember that they're scrolling, and that's not what they're seeing. They're not seeing Brenna have her morning post, Melissa have her morning post, Danae, like I do. And sometimes I put you guys in a list and I put you off to the side so I can remember that, my message and my purpose is important. And Facebook and Instagram are not oversaturated with fitness or Beachbody coaches. It's just our perception of what you're seeing. Also, and these numbers are pretty rough. I always was under the impression that it's 10%. So 10% of your friends have the possibility to see your post. I just saw a post from Bonnie Engel today or yesterday or something that she said the new Facebook algorithm is that 7%, 7% of your Facebook friends only see your post. That's not very many. So if you're like kind of afraid that like, I don't know, like people are going to see it, or like back to that judgment or what they're going to think or all that, nobody's really seeing it. And I kind of think that that can either be discouraging or liberating, depending on how you think of it. It can be discouraging because you're like, well, why am I going to post? Or it can be liberating because you can think of it as a timestamp. So, for example, I clock in every day to work. I scan. I'm on salary, so I don't make hourly. It doesn't matter how many hours I work, but I have to swipe in and timestamp that I was in the building at the time, so that if there's ever a question, HR can look it up and see that I physically punched in my number, my swipe. Think of you posting on social media about your vital behaviors. So whether you're sharing a personal development or a workout or a Shakeology post or something like that, think of it as a timestamp, so that when you're having those private conversations with people, not even necessarily about Beachbody, but when you're just forming them, which is when you're directing a conversation to get to know them, which is family, occupation, recreation, and message. So when you're asking those questions to get to know somebody, they might be like, what's this girl all about? Because you're asking about them, so they're like, she's asking about me, what is this girl all about? And they're going to go back and scroll and see, oh, Monday she posted a workout picture, Sunday she posted a workout picture, she's like, oh, she's really into fitness, like what is she doing? Or like, and then they go, think of it like a timestamp. It's not actually necessarily in the moment how many likes you get. It's you're being proof the products work in your own virtual journal, kind of. So if you can use those kind of that knowledge of the Facebook algorithm or the Instagram algorithm to let yourself off the hook, that if you're kind of nervous in the moment to post something, don't, because not necessarily when in the moment are they going to see it. Sorry, I'm reading a message. Yes. And then, so if you're doing the funnel, which I was just kind of having an aha with earlier today when I was working my funnel, is that if you have like a targeted, which kind of sounds like weird, if you have that targeted people that you're putting through the funnel, so you're liking and commenting and you're messaging and you're like building a relationship with them in the background, the chances of them seeing your post are going to be higher. It's all this big algorithm that I wish I could explain to you, but it's like, think of it as kind of points. Like if you guys are interacting with each other, that's more points. So that's a higher percentage likely that they're going to see the post. Also, if you log on to Facebook at 6:58 and I log on to Facebook at 6:58, like that's a point. Like it's very weird, but it has a system for whatever reason. And so what to post? So when I first started, motivational quotes that spoke to me were like my go-to. I teach, I work full time. You guys all work full time too. You're busy. You can't always, it's okay to not always have like the perfect selfie with the most motivating message that's ever been happened, like just ready to go in your note section. It just is not like that. But the point is that you're showing up on people's newsfeed as a positive, especially on Facebook, when Facebook to me is going very much towards like, and I love it, like funny memes, but a lot of shares, a lot of things that people are just sharing, recipes, political stuff, like just a lot of that. You just, going to Google, like if I'm listening to a Darren Hardy book, I'll Google Darren Hardy quotes because he's kind of in my jam. Like I'm vibing with him at that moment, even if I didn't just listen to him like 2 seconds ago. I know that when I look through those, some of them are going to speak to me more. So I'll just save it to my phone and then I'll post it in my own picture and I'll put a little message, some emojis, like nothing crazy, but I'm showing my followers or people who might be creeping me that, I'm showing up with some kind of level of happiness. And this is just where I'm at today. It is really hard sometimes to post when you're not having a good day. And that's okay. Don't fake it. like, don't just post to post necessarily. You know, you want to show people that you're there, but if like you're having a really crappy moment, like, don't post. Like, just wait a little bit. Like, full disclosure, John and I got in a huge fight this morning. Like, so I saved my workout picture because I just could not get myself to really think anything happy. So I wasn't going to post something. So I saved it for tonight. Something I also did when I first started coaching was I felt like I needed to like share my life in real time. So like if I went to the movies and I took a picture, I had to share that picture at that moment that I went to the movies tonight. It's okay to like capture these moments and then put your phone back in your pocket and then use them later. That's kind of something that I just didn't get. And it's okay to, if you're a live journaler, like in the moment you want to share that, that is totally good. That's incredibly authentic. But it's not non-authentic to save that and to just use your message the next day. Or, you know, I worked out this morning and I shared my workout post tonight, because a lot of people sit and watch TV at night and they're on their phones. And so I knew if I shared my workout post, it would still get across my message. My message was today, you know what it was, you can read my post, but it's just, don't feel like if you really don't have anything to say, don't force it, because you can usually feel it. And I've done that before, and I'm gonna do it again. Everyone does it, but if you need to just take a minute or look up a person, like a quote or something, that's still a good post. Or just saying like, this spoke to me this morning. Like, I really connected with this quote because, like, you can say a couple words. So a positive quote is always like a good go-to. Sharing recipes. So like if you're on your journey and you're not a big selfie taker, or you're not there yet, like, and you don't know what to do, if you meal prep on Sunday, take a bunch of pictures of your food. You know, think about lighting. It's so stupid, and I don't make things perfect, because none of us are perfect, and you don't really want to make it seem like you have to be perfect in coaching. But like, I try to bring my food to a window, and I just like pop a bunch of pictures of all the food I prepped, and then I have those in my phone if I'm like really stuck one day, if I'm PMSing, or if I just got in a fight or something. You have something to share, and you can add value to people's lives, because it's a super easy way to be like, hey, this is a great way to be healthy, is here's a recipe. So motivational quotes, recipes, kind of going back to the real time thing. Like if you go out on a date night, or if you go to a concert and you feel like you look awesome and you feel fabulous, like take some pictures, of you feeling great, because you're going to tell that in your smile. You know, if you wake up on, like if you have on your calendar on Tuesday, I'm going to talk about like loving myself or something. And then Tuesday you wake up and you just like kind of feel bloated and you just don't feel so great, and you try to like take a picture and you're just not feeling it. You know, it might be really hard to follow your plan, but if you have a picture that you can just use for the message that you felt so strongly about the night before, or something, you know, like in the shower or when you're laying in bed, when you just like think of things, you know, you never think of a good post when you're actually writing a post. It's like always at a completely different time. So have those just on the go. Now, what I am finding that works for me, and I'm not an expert, but I do feel like if I had to pick a strongest part of my consistency of being a coach, is my social media presence. And so what has worked for me is on Facebook, I do try to have 3 posts a day. I try to start in the morning when people are getting ready for work, or like on their way to work or something, with a vital behavior post. So either I share a personal development, a workout, a Shakeology, or something true to coaching, like an actual vital behavior. In the daytime, I try to share something about me, like something about teaching or something about my kids. Like when Cammie, I'm big about sharing like her month milestones, because I like to remind people that I have a young baby. I do that in the daytime. I also ask questions on Facebook a lot. So like, do you like this or this? What's your favorite whatever? And they're true questions that I actually like want opinions on. I'm not just trying to, but it does boost your Facebook infinity. So if someone comments on your posts, Facebook thinks that other people want to see it more than just a like. So if they comment and then you comment, like, that's getting more and more traction on your page, and it just boosts it. And then at the end of the night, I try to do a lifestyle coaching post, and I do it pretty much every day. And that works for me. Some people do like 1 out of 5 posts, 1 out of 3 posts. You do a Beachbody post. You have to do what feels right for you. I'm all about the 10X rule, which is a great personal development book if you need one. Grant Cardone talks about like going hard, and like Brenna talked a lot about, I think last week, like people need like 4 to 6 exposures. So the faster you can get through those exposures, the faster you're going to get to yes. Going for no is exposing people over and over and over. And that doesn't mean you have to be like, join my team, join my team, join my team. But I talk about coaching or Beachbody in every post that I can weave it into. They're not all call to action posts. They're just dropping the word or dropping what I'm doing so that I'm time stamping it. So if people were to go back and read my post from months and months and months ago, I've been talking about this for forever. So that's what works for me. Now, Instagram, I do a different thing. So this is all dependent on what you want to do. I share pretty much the same content on Facebook and Instagram because I'm trying to find different people. Now, I add hashtags on Instagram, and I'm figuring that out. Hashtags need to be specific to you because, and I'm new to Instagram, so I'm not an expert. I'm like totally just jumping on the bandwagon, but hashtagging Shakeology is going to pull up more coaches. Even hashtagging Fit Mom, hashtagging Mom of Two, hashtagging, what's the other one? A couple of them have just been bringing up coaches, and you're a coach when you can recognize other coaches. Like, I just see the picture and I'm like, that's a coach. Like, you just know, you just kind of get in the gym. I don't want to find people who are already coaches. I want to find people who need help, who need this opportunity, who would benefit from a product, who would benefit from coaching. So being super specific has been what I found. Like, I hashtag now, what is it? Adult Children of Alcoholics, ACOA, which is Adult Children of Alcoholics, which is, my mom was an alcoholic, and it's like a total support group that I've like gotten into. I will tell you that hashtag is not full of coaches, but it is full of people that I might be able to connect with. And so you finding what works for you, dog mom could be it, or like, I follow this one girl and it's like type 2 diabetes, like just like very specific things to you. Is just play with it. It's a total play game. I don't really ask questions on Instagram because that hasn't worked for me so far. Am I going to try again? Yeah, absolutely I will. But I haven't seen much interaction on my posts yet, actually. But I have been building followers. And Instagram stories, just go for it. Just like live time your life. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is fun. Play with it. Like, just have fun with it. I think Instagram stories is something that you should just have fun with. Like, show your personality, show what you're doing, be silly, be you. And then it's cool because you can track who watches it. So you can go back and see what they're doing. Okay, that was what I was going to say. So this is where I wanted to just kind of see if anyone had any questions or what they're struggling with social media. This is hard for me. Like I've said before, this is my strong suit, is social media. I don't have a PowerPoint, so this isn't like a good example, but I guess I need to know what you guys are specifically struggling with, or if you're not getting the results you want. If you're not getting the results you want in your posts, like it's sometimes really crappy luck, because you could have the best well-crafted post with the cutest picture, and you just post it at the wrong time. So you have to think about what your peak market when they would be on Facebook. So if you are a working young professional, you're probably not going to be on Facebook at like 10 o'clock in the morning because in theory you would be working. But at Summit, Chalene Johnson said to post 1 hour before that. So like if everybody logs on to Facebook between like 5:30 and 6:30, because that's when they're sitting down to dinner or getting home or they're on the subway or something like that, you want to post at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in theory. Also, like if people are playing around on Facebook when they're getting up in the morning, you want to kind of do it early, which works for us because if we're getting up before work and we're working out and then people are still in bed, it's kind of like a nice reminder like, hey, oh, she got up early. You know what I mean? Like it's just catching them at the right time. So, and it's also consistency. If you are posting every day consistently, your infinity goes up automatically. But it's pumping that well that we talk about. If you stop pumping the well and you stop posting, it's like you're starting back up again. Facebook has to like believe that people want to see your stuff. So you kind of just have to keep up with it. That's where it's kind of a double-edged sword. You don't want to post anything just to post something, but you also want to post something to show you're consistent. So that's why the goal is 3 to 5 times a day. And then if you just get one out, that's still good. You're still showing Facebook that you're showing up. So timing, if you're not getting like the results you're wanting from a post, look at timing, look at what you're posting, wording, ask somebody on the team like, hey, did this come across how I wanted it to? Think about, and if you're struggling with this, go to or get the book Jab, Jab, Right Hook. That's where, I can never say his name, but he's really, really, really awesome. Brenna's husband always shares his videos and I totally love it. He's like just like really abrasive in the most awesome way, and he swears a lot and I just love it. But he talks about how like, jab, jab, right hook is that like in my head when I jab is when I'm weaving in like I did one post and it was really, really good. I remember it was like months ago and it was like me, a picture playing with the kids on the floor, and I got a bunch of likes. And all I said was like, being a full-time mom and like working is like really hard. Balance is something that I used to really struggle with, but coaching actually helps me with, even though I'm busier or something like that. And it wasn't like a call to action. I just mentioned coaching and balance and stuff like that. And I got a good amount of likes on it. And so that would be my jab. Now you want to have a process to this, which is hard because you got to be organized. So in theory, you have your month, right? It's hard to like give a specific number because it just doesn't work like that. You have to do what's best for you. But roughly, let's say you're going to talk about challenge groups 2 weeks of the month and coaching 2 weeks of the month. Because if you want to invite someone to something, so you're inviting to a challenge group and you're inviting to like a coaching opportunity call or whatever you want to do, or just talking about coaching, even if you don't have like an event. But what you're doing is you're sprinkling about challenge groups. You're sprinkling the answers to these people's questions. So, if the biggest objections you get about a challenge group are cost, time, and like legit, like is it legit? Am I going to get results? Those are just the 3 that came to my head. Then you handle those publicly. You say, you sprinkle that in every day. You talk, you do a post in the morning about how like I got up and I just jammed out my 30-minute workout and I'm done and I'm covered in sweat and now I'm off to work. No call to action. You're not saying join me, join me, join me. It's just a sprinkle. It's just a little something. And then, the next day, maybe you talk about Shakeology and how, it saved you money. Once I remember I was just talking to Melissa and she was saying how Shakeology has saved her and her husband money because they were way more focused on meal prep and incorporating what they were buying, because if they were going to buy Shakeology, they wanted to use it, and they actually were saving money in California on groceries, like, which is kind of a big deal, and that's something that she could post about. It's just all about how you're wording it. And then, so you jab all week long, and then you right hook at a time where your people would be on, like Sunday nights are a good time, or Monday nights, kind of the beginning of the week when people are like a little bit more organized. By the end of the week, they're kind of, just, I am, at least by the end, all my ducks are in a row, and then I'm herding cats by the end of the week. But it's posting when your audience would see a call to action. You are going to get the least amount of likes and the least amount of comments when you actually say, like, let me know, or comment below, or private message me. People are very non-committal. Even if you're just like, you can just ask questions, but you have to say it. But just let yourself off the hook when you're like, I'm not getting anything on this, like, what the heck? Just know that it's just that timestamp. It's showing it. So then when you're private messaging with someone, you can say, hey, I posted about that challenge group. I'd really love it if you joined us. It's all just kind of weaves together. So I think that was all the points I had. But then, so jab, right hook is a good one. The 10X rule is another really great personal development if social media is something. Also, Get Over Your Damn Self is a hard book. You have to read it. You can't listen. So I've started it, and that's supposed to be really, really amazing. But I haven't finished it because I struggle with sitting and reading. But does anyone have any questions or things that they need clarification on? Or is it just like consistency, like I need to kick myself in the butt and just make sure I'm doing it, or take that 20 minutes on Sunday and think about a plan, which is hard. Melissa, you just unmuted yourself. You're on the line.
Yes. So, question for everyone. I have all of my high school friends on Isagenix. They all are. Oh. I did it a couple of years ago. That is my circle. And then a lot of the parents that I know out here are on it as well. So my immediate circle of friends is all Isagenix. So that's where I'm struggling, because all these people that I'm working out or working with, and then they're asking me questions, they ultimately, one, because they're still in Staten Island. So they're still with the main circle and they all work out together. Mm-hmm. And two, it's such a heavy influence that I'm one person on Beachbody. So I even had like somebody comment to me like, what are you doing? I tried to get you on my team with Isagenix. And my answer to him was, I didn't want to cleanse twice a week because you don't eat food and you don't focus on working out. So that's why I started following you, Sam. And that's my biggest struggle. Like for me, I was around Herbalife, and I have a bunch of people that I know in Herbalife.
Yeah, me too.
And out in Arizona, other people agree, but Arizona has like these really cool 30-minute workout gyms that it's an actual gym, and that's how they sell Herbalife. Like it's some type of, they call it like a health smoothie bar kind of, but that's where they get a big pull on Herbalife, is that's out there in the community. And then for Isagenix, like one of the girls I went to high school with is an actual millionaire from Isagenix. She's like number 222. So she's still in Staten Island with all of my friends from high school. And the two people that I had asking me questions, when I followed up with them, they went to Isagenix.
Well, I guess all I can say is that you might, with those people, have a little bit harder. You might have to prove yourself a little bit harder. Right. But if you're having these concerns, I guarantee you somebody else is. But we live in a very mob mentality culture. So if, like you said, if everybody is doing it, then it's easier for them all to stay on that one program. But if you handle those objections, and you don't have to say, I did Isagenix and hated it, but you could say, I've done other programs in the past, you have a post and it's you or whatever. I've done other programs in the past, and I really struggled with these things. Now I'm doing this, and it's really working for me. Again, you're just sharing your journey. So this is a chance where with those specific people, you might have to just like super kill with kindness and consistency, that like, that's great, you're all doing that, but I'm over here being stronger and I'm doing what's working for me. At the same time, try to add more people away from that. So, maybe not going through like people you knew in Facebook and adding like their sisters, you know what I mean? Or that you knew in high school and adding their sisters. Maybe try to
So how do you
add people.
how are other people adding?
Well, at first I went through my high school list.
What are some ways to get other people?
Well, think about, and maybe we can tag you in that memory jogger that Brenna posted. Think about everybody you've worked with or that you've gone to school with, and then go there and then look at their mutual friends or like siblings, because it's easy to start a conversation sometimes like, hey, I went to high school, I remember you, like, or you came into Fleming's that night, and something like that. Or but go ahead, Brenna.
Well, Melissa, so I have a very similar issue. Besides like Sam and Kiara, who are my girlfriends from, not from high school or anything like that. Mine's not my high school group of girlfriends, but my actual close girlfriends now. Two of them were Herbalife reps for a long time. They did that. They know what the business is like. They have no interest whatsoever. And then the rest of my girlfriends are all bartenders who are still very much in the lifestyle, have no desire of getting healthy. Instead, they, drink a lot of energy drinks and go to the gym and eat really shitty and like the whole shebang. So what I found though also with those conversations is even my friend who's like the total know-it-all Herbalife person, who she is, I love her to death, but that's totally how she is. She has asked me more questions about my business, but then always has like an answer to go with it. You know what I mean? Like to tell me why it doesn't work or why whatever. But she continues to ask me about the business. So something to keep in mind with like these type of people, I have, because I've just taken myself out of those like conversations. Because if you think about it like this also, we're talking about products and all of those things. I'm not necessarily going to message people who I'm super close with and be like, hey, let's chat about this. I'm just going to have that conversation if they want to do it. And they're not scared to talk to me about it. The people who are maybe a little more iffy, like I had a girl right now who was on Isagenix for 2 years who just switched into my challenge group and got better results in 3 months in my challenge groups than she did for 2 years on Isagenix for the very reasons you're talking about. So, but it took her being on Isagenix, me reaching out and saying like, oh, like when they say they're on Isagenix, that's not like a no for me. That's like, okay, so how's that been going? Why, if you're talking to me about Beachbody and asking me questions, there's a reason. You're asking me because you're lacking something in your program that you have now. Otherwise, you would say, oh my God, I'm doing Isagenix. It's been amazing. I love it. I'm good. There would be no questions. There would be no reason for them to reach out to you. So with her, she was like, well, I've been on the shakes for 2 years and it's just like what I know. Where Isagenix is very supplement based rather than nutrition based. And a lot of these programs are. Herbalife, my sister-in-law, Jessica, who, if you guys have seen any of her transformation pictures, has lost over 40 pounds on Beachbody and did Herbalife for over a year.
And she doesn't even drink Shakeology consistently. She's like doing the work. I mean, not that Shakeology like cuts any corners, because it doesn't, but I just mean like.
Yeah, no, she's just following the meal plan. And then when because originally, she's been in school and she hasn't been working and her husband's only working. So she hasn't bought the shakes consistently. She has them, every time she can get some, she gets some, but like, it's not every day. So just something to keep in mind that like, just because someone's on another program isn't the end all be all. There's a reason why the health and fitness realm, why people try, like I tried Weight Watchers. I went to the gym, and every stage of life might be different. So with that group, like Sam said, it may just have to be that you're being consistent and really getting some sick results and being open to sharing those results. And then when people ask you, even if they're on another program, asking them questions like you would, like I ask people, have you tried a program in the past? Are you currently using a program in our conversation? Because I want to know when they say, oh, well, I've done shakes before. I don't like shakes. And I can ask them about what type of shakes they've tried, things like that, to better understand the type of person you're talking to. It's like someone who said, I've tried network marketing before. Well, just so we're clear, not all network marketing is the same, and not all businesses are the same, and not all business training is the same. Same with the shakes, same with the workouts, like they're all different. So if you feel like that vibe from them is coming, then maybe remove them as your group. I add completely, I don't have like an adding, like I don't go to my high school pages and add people or anything like that. I literally go to my suggestions, and anyone over 10 friends, I creep on their profile, and if I feel like we could match, I add them. And I've still had to re-download my Facebook friends 3 times. So I'm starting to go down to like 5 friends in common. But
and it's just who, it's hard because you can't judge somebody that you're going to be friends or that you're not going to be friends. You kind of just have to be open to the universe putting people in your life that should. It's very, in the beginning, it's very, a lot of that hard work up front, and then eventually it's a little bit easier, if you were to build a like page, or, you just build a little bit of a reputation that people send people to you and stuff like that. Even when you don't even notice, like a girl just like added me and we had one mutual friend, and I would have never realized like why she added me until like the girl messaged me. She's like, hey, I told like my friend about you because she's in a challenge group, and she's like, she's gonna add you, and she did. So, people, it's just like little things here and there. It's just being, for you, Melissa, I would focus, which is a good thing in a way, like focus hard on your own transformation, and then don't be scared to just have the conversations. And Brenna is a great example of this because she asks questions. She just like gets in conversations, and she just kind of, and I don't know if this is on purpose, Brenna, but you just seem to have a wonderful like non-expectation of, we're just going to talk this out, whether we end together or apart, like we're just going to have this conversation. And that's a really good thing to do.
I think, Melissa, you're doing a great job of like posting and putting yourself out there and being like very, I started noticing your posts like come across my social media, and they're awesome because there's a great variety. Part of what's going on with you now is you're brand new. And so these people, especially if they're already affiliated with a program, it's going to take them some time to recognize that maybe not the best. And if they say no to you because they're doing Isagenix right now, in 3 months or in 6 months, they may not be getting those results. So give it that time, because that's the other piece. It's someone who's already doing another program. Like I had a girl who was like, I can't do your group. I'm already on Weight Watchers. Sorry, thanks. Followed up with her. Literally, she reached out to me after 2 months of doing Weight Watchers and was like, okay, I'm ready. So it's just about, being open with your journey, but also giving it that time, because people who do other programs, not saying that Beachbody is the only way, because it's not, but especially something like Isagenix that's very, very much not nutrition based. There's not, like you said, there's not that workout piece. There's not the meal plan piece. They're just the supplements. People fall off of that. They don't get huge results with that. So, people will come around. They definitely, because you can't do something forever and not get results and spend so much money. Isogenic shakes and Shakeology are about the same cost. Right. So people who are willing to spend the money on that are going to be more likely to be willing to spend the money on Shakeology if they can see that those results are real. So they're a great market.
Right.
Because they're willing to spend the money.
Right. The Isagenix 30-day cleanse is $300.
Dang.
Which is ridiculous, because you're drinking like this prune juice drink for 6 of those. That I didn't like about it. Did I see great results? Yes. But ultimately, when you're mom and you're married with friends and not enjoy dinner. That
Right.
is my biggest.
Well, right. And I mean, and I'm just coming up with this right now, but I'm just going to roll with it. I challenge everybody this tonight, like whether you're getting in bed or whatever you're doing after this, is to think of the objections that you got in the last couple days or the last week or for the last challenge group. Actually write them down and then target those things in your post for the whole next week. So, you know, I'm ending a challenge, like I'm still pushing for Success Club. Like I am still pushing. We have a couple days left, guys, and the towel cannot, like I have people who haven't answered me, they've ghosted me, I'm going back, I'm following up from previous months, I'm still pushing. When we get to the first, I will switch to talking about coaching, and my goal is, my own challenge is on the first to start talking about coaching for 2 straight weeks and just every single day handle an objection. And when I handle an objection once, to do it again. So talk about the fear of whatever and whatever and whatever, and then to roll right into every day talking about objections for challenge groups. So if you got an objection, even if you got an objection 10 minutes ago, you can think about that and use it in a post of why. And it can just be you in a sweaty selfie saying, I used to like go to the gym for 4 hours and I got no results. I'm drenched in sweat and I have no commute time. Done. Like handling the objections publicly makes it a little bit easier. You're still going to have objections in private, but people who are creeping you will be reading those, at least in already kind of have those answers in the back of their mind.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just pumping that well, but you're doing it, and it's just figuring it out, and totally like the national wake up call, like listen to some music that pumps you up before, or whatever you need to do that, like James, I did that today. I did not, I'm so tired from starting school, and I got home and we did dinner and it was crazy. John got home early and I put in my headphones and I just like jammed out to some music. And then I sent 2 fresh invites and I did 4 follow-ups right before this call. And then like, I'm still tired and I'm really sorry guys that I'm kind of tired, but I did it and I felt better about it and more confident about it. And then I was able to come and talk for, 45 minutes. So, just do whatever fuels you. If, music doesn't fuel you that way, then go for a run or whatever it is that pumps you up, and then send messages, and then just walk away from your phone. Like if you're scared, just like the first time I shared my transformation, I was like covered in a rash. I was so nervous. I was teaching summer school. I sent a text to my coach at the same time and said, I want to throw up. I just shared my transformation. I came back and I had a lot of loving comments, like a lot of support. People are never going to say, like anything mean. They're just going to love on you. So, if you need to send those invites to your dream team, to people who you would think would be amazing as coaches or would really benefit from a challenge group with you, send them and then just walk away for a little bit. It's okay. It's okay to walk away for 2 hours. You're not tied to your phone as a coach. Like set those boundaries. Do the work, but set those boundaries. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And the other key, guys, just a side note, if you're worried about people seeing your posts, because like what Sam said, that was really defeating to me. And then when I found out that, one, if you like and comment on 10 people's stuff before you post, Facebook will share your post more. So another incentive to do your likes and comments.
Oh, Brenna. I didn't know that.
I'll share the 10 pieces to the algorithm. I put it in my team page.
Yeah.
It has all the breakdown of what's the best to do it. But also, if you're messaging people behind the scenes, they're going to see your post, which is great because you're already talking to them about joining your challenge group, which means they're already going to see all the awesome things you're talking about way more. So it specifically interacts more with people you're interacting with. So when you're only liking and commenting, and coaches are only liking and commenting on your stuff, coaches are only seeing your stuff. The only people you're talking to behind the scenes are each other. They're the only ones who will be seeing it. So just keep that in mind when you're messaging and you're sending out those hey girl messages. That's not only building a relationship, but that's also making your post show more to those specific people who you are just trying to build a relationship with. So it's building more of your validity to who you are and what kind of a coach you are and your journey. So it's like huge to think about like all the work you're doing on all the pieces of the funnel. They all help you when you go to send that invite and to do that follow-up too, because then the more that you're interacting with them or liking on their stuff or commenting, and then they go and look at yours and like and comment, full circle. Then in 2 or 3 months when you go to talk to them, it's like, boom, I'm talking about the full circle tonight on my live post. I'm going for the crack after we're done. So just throwing that out there. Not about this, but about some other fun stuff that have to do with the circle.
All right,
I do want to
guys.
put something in there really quick. So you, Sam, what you're talking about, obviously, as the National Wake Up Call said, you know, go with what you know and what's working for you. So I'm not always the best at posting on Facebook. Like I'm on Facebook all the time, but I could literally like just scroll through everybody's things without posting for hours on end. Hence what I did over the weekend. So I started doing the whole Instagram thing, and I'm pretty sure you all know by now how I am petrified of going live. But I've gone live a couple times on my Instagram story, I guess, and there's not as big of a market on there. Like I don't have, me and Sam graduated, she might have graduated a year before me, but I graduated with 705 people. Like there's a lot of people from my high school on my Facebook. Not everybody's on my Instagram. So it's a smaller market that I'm working with, but then I can grow that so I don't feel as like I'm going for the crack, but I'm not going to vomit at the end. You know what I mean? So it's something I'm still working on. I'm not an expert, but
if you're feeling it more, like if you are able to be more of you on Instagram, go for it. Like,
yeah,
absolutely go for it. I mean, keep your list from Facebook. Like, don't abandon those people who you
Oh,
were
no, I
in
won't.
relationships. And not, I don't mean abandon. I just mean like you did put in work on Facebook. So like, you know, keep that list and keep, you know, building those relationships. But if they're on Instagram, just talk to them on Instagram. And I've talked to a few people who have answered me on Instagram and never answered me on Facebook. So, I mean, it's just finding a vibe. And I like Instagram because Melissa asked like how you find new people. Like I'm finding people that I have 0 friends in common with, but we have the same hashtag and I'm hitting follow when they're following me back. And so I don't know what's going to come of it, but I mean, it's a way to find different people. It's just a different way to do the same thing. So you just have to totally just find what works for you.
no, absolutely.
There's a place on in your friends on Insta where you can add your friends from Facebook like on Insta. So if you already are friends with them on Facebook, it'll pull those contacts over and ask you to follow them. So you might want to give that a try, and you may be able to convert some of those people who maybe you talk to on Facebook to Instagram where you're more comfortable and more present.
Yeah,
Totally.
It's a good idea.
So, and then I just go in, like I was trying to find an example, but like I go to the like I hashtag it, and then I go to the hashtag and I see myself pop up there because I just hashtagged it. And then I look around and I see, is anybody like me, you know, like is anybody a mom or is anybody a teacher or something, like, and I just scroll kind of fast. There are faster ways to do it, and I watched the training like a couple weeks ago about it and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you could think about the procedures for days, but don't. Just do, because you're never going to figure out what works for you if you don't do anything. So just fail forward. Just if you try posting at 5, like I posted at 6:15 the other morning and I got nothing. And I was like, okay, that's a little bit early for my people. So I moved it up, you know, like it's just a total trial and error. And that's the cool thing about it, is that you're never really failing. You're just learning. So yeah, that's that. I hope everyone is still pushing hard for the next couple days. And, you know, if I believe that it can happen and that it will happen. If it doesn't, if it hasn't been the month you wanted, who gives a shit? Like, just get ready for the next one and take everything that you learned and just keep going, because there's never been a coach ever who came on the wake up call or anything that said like, every month I just got better and it just kept getting easier. No, like, you're going to have months that suck and you're going to have months that are great. You just got to keep showing up. So keep pushing, keep going hard. I'm excited for routine. I'm going to stop recording really fast.